Hello everyone, welcome into Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon. Welcome back to another episode on the channel, episode 59. We're getting close to the 60s. Can't wait for that. But a sneak peek into this week's episode is we have two topics of NFL news. Yes, just two topics. It was not a big week in the NFL news world. However, in the quick hits world, we have 11 topics of quick hits. So beating the timer almost seems impossible. After that, we will have roster moves, signings, and cuts. Not a lot of that this week, so just so you know. After that, we are going to be starting a new segment called I Would If I Could. So I would do this if I could, or if I could have been in this position. After that, as always, we are going to have a quiz and a question of the week. This is Deacon's NFL Talk. Alright, everyone, we're going to jump right into this one. So, as always, we are starting off with the main topic, and this week we are starting off with the Packers releasing All-Pro corner Jaire Alexander. So, this is something that actually happened probably midweek, maybe. So, it is kind of an old topic, if you will. But, I mean, this, to me, came as a surprise. I think it did. Not the fact that they were going to, that Jaire wasn't going to be on the Packers. I mean, I had a little bit of a feeling, the fact that there were talks about the Packers, looking for trade targets or restructuring his deal, whatever. So there was obviously some speculation that he would leave. Obviously, injury history has been a concern for the Packers. But obviously, there will be several teams looking to get this guy, and I'm sure there's plenty of teams right now that are doing their research on Jaire Alexander, but the fact that they couldn't get a trade in, because Jaire, I mean, sure, he has a lot of injuries this past few years. I mean, he's missed 33 games in the past 4 years due to groin, back, shoulder, and knee injuries. So, I mean, that's never good. I mean, 33 games in 4 years is a lot, and so obviously, it is kind of hard to trade a guy like that, but I think Jaire still has the talent to be a guy that is traded for sure. I was shocked at the fact that they released him. That's how I feel on my part. I was surprised that they released him instead of traded him, because I think they could have gotten a good bargain out of a trade. I think they could have easily gotten a maybe third or fourth round pick out of it. First round is a little bit too high. But I think they could have gotten a solid deal out of it, and I think the Packers would have been just fine. I forget who the Packers drafted. I don't know if they drafted a corner or not. I'm gonna look it up, but it was shocking to me that the fact that they did not trade him, because I think Jaire is the guy that is definitely tradable and that you will get a good offer for him. They drafted Micah Robinson, corner out of Pittsburgh or Tulane. So they only drafted one corner in the draft, and I feel like knowing that he was probably not going to be on the team, that it is a little bit concerning for Green Bay. But they also have some other solid weapons at the corner position as well. But anyway, the 18th pick in the 2018 draft tallied 287 tackles, 12 interceptions, 70 pass deflections, and 1 touchdown. So obviously he's had a really solid career, but one thing everyone will be talking about Jaire Alexander is his injury history, and that's going to be playing a big role for whatever team signs him. I mean, there's several teams. Honestly, scratch that. There's probably every NFL team would honestly love to have this kind of guy, but like I said, the injury history is going to be a negative mark. It's not going to be something that people are going to look at and say, "Oh, we can fix this." I hope they can fix this. I don't know what his problem is. He's a great corner. He's not the top 10 corners yet, mainly because of his injury. I would say he could slide into the top 10 for some people. Yeah, like I said, some people could put him in the top 10. Some might not. Either way, I think it's fair. We're going to go on to the second and last topic. TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson were both absent from mandatory minicamp. So obviously, I've talked about Trey Hendrickson a couple times. I maybe have gotten to talk about TJ Watt once, or even not at all. So starting off with TJ Watt, he enters the final year of a 4-year, $112 million contract he signed back in 2021. So back then, obviously contracts for edge rushers were a lot cheaper than they are right now. I mean, Myles Garrett is getting paid $40 million a year. So the market is just only going to continue to rise from here on out. Both Watt and Hendrickson will receive fines that increase each time that they skip minicamp. Day 1, they'll receive $17,462 in fines. Day 2, they'll receive $52,381. And day 3, they will receive $104,768. That is a load of money that, in my opinion, you could potentially be wasting. Obviously, I think a contract will definitely help out whoever they sign with. Honestly, I don't have any worries about potentially TJ Watt not being on the team this next year. I don't have any worry. Even if Steelers fans have any worry, don't worry. I mean, because I think TJ Watt is going to be a Steeler whenever he signs a contract. I think he's going to retire as a Steeler. I mean, maybe he'll move to one different team. But anyway, all that money combined that I just mentioned adds up to $174,611. So obviously, crazy amount. I mean, the fact that they can even afford that is absolutely mind-blowing. But according to Ian Rappaport, there is no progress on a deal for Watt or Hendrickson. So I believe Ian Rappaport said that there's no progress on a deal for Watt. And I did see an article or two about Trey Hendrickson, Zach Taylor or whoever contacted Trey Hendrickson, and there was no traction between a deal. So really, it's not looking good for both sides, really. I think the Steelers have more reason for optimism for TJ Watt than the Bengals do with Trey Hendrickson. Speaking of Hendrickson, going on his side, he is also in the final year of his deal, hoping to make more than $60 million in 2025, which is what he deserves. He deserves to be making much more than $16 million. I think he deserves 40, maybe 40-ish, around that, but who knows at this point. The Bengals are the Bengals. I don't know what's going to happen. The Bengals are so unpredictable, you don't even know. But Hendrickson recorded 17.5 sacks, leading the league in 2025. He has also made the Pro Bowl in each season since joining Cincinnati in 2021. I mean, yeah, he said back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. So, I mean, there's no joke what this guy can do. I mean, he's the best, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in the league, at least most productive edge rusher. To consistently put up 17.5 sack seasons, back-to-back, is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, he's made the Pro Bowl every time since 2021. So that's 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 4 years in a row he's made the Pro Bowl. And obviously, you could make the argument Micah Parsons is probably better. You could make the argument for Myles Garrett. But I think Trey Hendrickson is the most productive guy. I'm not throwing any shade at TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, or, Micah Parsons. I'm not being biased at all either. But, I mean, to put up 17.5 sacks in back-to-back years, not a lot of people can do that. Some more holdouts during mandatory minicamp were Shemar Stewart, who is Hendrickson's teammate. Hopefully the Bengals figure that out, which probably they will not. He was also not at camp. Terry McLaurin and Jalen Ramsey were also not at their team's camp either. So we will see. I would say if I had to have a meter between should be concerned, not really, don't be concerned at all. So I would put TJ Watt anywhere on the meter. I would put him at probably mid. I'd put him right in the middle. So there's no worry, a little bit of worry, and then a lot of worry. So I would put TJ Watt at a little bit of worry, but really I think this is going to get done whenever it happens. After that, Trey Hendrickson, I would say that you should be worrying a lot. I mean, I don't know if he'll be on the team in 2025. I think if I had to make my prediction, I think Trey Hendrickson, whether he plays or not, is going to be on the Bengals roster in 2025. I hope I am right about that. I hope he does play, obviously. For Shemar Stewart, we're worrying. Like we are worrying like crazy. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. That I will get to that in a little bit about Shemar Stewart. As of Terry McLaurin and Jalen Ramsey, I would say Jalen Ramsey. If any Dolphins fans like Jalen Ramsey, you probably should be worrying because I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to be in the Dolphins in 2025. Maybe I'm wrong. It's probably right in the middle between a lot of worry and then a little bit. It's right in between. So I think it could go either way. As for Terry McLaurin, don't even worry at all. Like, don't even have a little pinch of worry. Like, the thing with Terry McLaurin, that's going to get done. I mean, I can see why Commanders fans could be concerned. But as a non-Commanders fan, or whatever you want to call it, I don't have any concern that Terry McLaurin is not going to be on the team in 2025. I think he'll be on the team. I don't know if I said that right. But anyway, that is all for NFL news. We are going to go on to quick hits. Like I said, we have 11 topics. I don't know if I'm going to beat the timer this week, and I'm kind of already stuttering throughout this episode a little bit. So yes, 11 topics. The most we've had in a while. I haven't lost the timer in a while. We have 2 minutes. We're going to see if I can do it. We're just going to go for it. All right, here we go. Wide receiver Chris Conley retires after 10 seasons. Conley plans to go back to Georgia for film school. Conley played for the Chiefs, Jaguars, Texans, Titans, and 49ers. Former Bengals All-Pro Adam Packman-Jones arrested in Kentucky facing many charges. This is Jones' fourth arrest since 2021. Jones played for the Titans and Bengals and had a short stint in the CFL. He played 12 years in the NFL. Bengals cut ties with linebacker Jermaine Pratt, and he eventually signs with the Raiders. It's a one-year, $4.25 million deal. Pratt requested a trade earlier this offseason. Since Cincinnati fired defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo, Pratt has wanted to leave. Pratt, who led the Bengals in tackles with 143, had missed 20 tackles and frees up $5.85 million in cap space, which is very important. Texans signing veteran and all-pro running back Nick Chubb. Chubb signs a deal worth up to $5 million. Cleveland adds Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson in the draft, which added to the running back room. Chubb, who suffered a severe injury a few years ago, joins Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce. Punter Michael Dixon agrees to a multi-year extension. According to Mike Garafolo, Dixon signed a 4-year, $16.2 million extension through 2029, making him the highest-paid punter in the league. Dixon passes Jags punter Logan Cook, who signed an extension less than 24 hours before Dixon signed his. Bills signed linebacker Shaq Thompson to a 1-year deal. Thompson is coming off a season-ending Achilles injury. Thompson recorded 35 tackles in 4 games last season. J.K. Dobbins signing a 1-year, $5.25 million deal with the Broncos. Dobbins had the best season of his career with the Chargers, generating 905 yards and 9 touchdowns, but suffered a knee injury, which has been a recurring theme for Dobbins. Khalil Mack re-signed with the Chargers on a 1-year, $18 million deal. Mack earned his 3rd straight Pro Bowl that season after generating 6 sacks, which is the fewest since his rookie year in 2014. Mack says the decision came down to winning ball games and not money. Texans safety Jimmy Ward arrested. Ward was arrested on felony family assault charge. Ward, who is entering the 12th season was arrested at 5:38 a.m. by Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Patriots to unveil statue of Tom Brady prior to preseason opener. The game will be played on August 8th. Last summer, Brady was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Colts induct Jim Irsay into the Ring of Honor. Oh shoot! I was like full on going for those. I almost had it. I was on the last one. Jim Irsay, the one about Jim Irsay. I don't know if you guys understood any of that. I hope you did, at least some of it. I'm gonna read back the last 4. Khalil Mack re-signs with the Chargers on a 1-year, $18 million deal. Mack earned his 3rd straight Pro Bowl this past season after generating 6 sacks, which was his fewest since his rookie year in 2014. Mack says the decision came down to winning ball games and not money. Texans safety Jimmy Ward was arrested. Ward was arrested on felony family assault charge. Ward, who is entering the 12th season, was arrested at 5:38 a.m. By the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Patriots are going to unveil a statue of Tom Brady prior to the preseason opener. The game will be played on August 8th, and last summer Brady was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. Last one was the Colts induct Jim Irsay into the Ring of Honor. Irsay died on May 21st at 65 years old and will now join many stars, including his dad, in the Ring of Honor. Irsay's 3 daughters will now have the team ownership. That is all for quick hits. I almost had 11. I almost had it. And I feel like the next time this is going to happen, we're going to have this much, I fucking can beat it. If we get 10, I think I can beat it, especially with how dialed in I was in this one. But anyway, we're going to go on to signings and cuts. The Bills signed defensive tackle Marcus Harris. Eagles signed running back Keelan Robinson. Browns signed offensive tackle Jackson Barton. Jaguars signed punter Logan Cook. Vikings signed tight end Josh Oliver and tight end Giovanni Ricci. Packers signed nose tackle Cameron Young. Rams signed defensive lineman Decarius Hawthorne and offensive tackle DJ Humphries. That is a really good signing. Commanders signed safety Jeremy Reeves, another good one. Chiefs signed tight end Kevin Folsk. And the Jets signed offensive lineman Marquise Haynes and defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan. Moving on to cuts. Bills cut defensive tackle Devin Brant Epps. Eagles cut wide receiver Ife Aday. I don't know. Sorry if I pronounced your last name or name wrong, whatever. Browns cut center Justin Osborne. It's probably Osborne. I don't know if I spelled that wrong. Vikings cut outside linebacker Matt Harmon. Broncos cut long snapper Zach Schreiner. Chiefs cut defensive tackle Siaki Ika. Raiders cut safety Jonathan Sutherland. And the Jets cut offensive lineman Zach Bailey and defensive back Trey Swilling. I'm going to see real quick, just to make sure. I think I got the Browns one right, or wrong. I meant it's Osborne. I got it wrong. The Browns cut center Josh Osborne. Got that one wrong. And we're going to see if there's any more NFL news or signings before we move on to I Would If I Could, the news segment we're going to be doing. Let me see. I'm not seeing anything right now. Oh, here we go. The Vikings signed offensive lineman Vershawn Lee, and the Vikings will also cut safety Bubba Bolden. That's all for signings and cuts. Just to double check, we're going to see if there's any more NFL news. Nothing. All right, so it's been a pretty quiet afternoon thus far. So we're going to go on to a new segment called I Would If I Could. So basically, like I said in the intro, this is going to be a segment where I'm saying I would do this if I could. If I could be in this position, I would do it. So we're going to be starting off, or I guess for the first annual I Would If I Could, we are going to be doing the Bengals whole situation, this whole thing. So I would sign Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart if I could. And to throw in a little bonus, I would also restructure Joe Burrow's contract to save some money if I could. So I would sign Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart if I could. Oh, let's somehow dive into this crazy scenario. So for whatever reason, if you guys don't know, the Bengals are in this drama-filled offseason with Trey Hendrickson and even their rookie Shemar Stewart, who in my opinion is going to be a bust. So either way, I didn't want him, and now it's worse than before. So that's lovely. But anyway, we'll start off with Trey Hendrickson. So the Bengals really should have done this last offseason. I would have said, obviously, if you guys didn't know, the Bengals signed Shemar and T earlier in the offseason as well. So that got done. If anything, I would have signed Shemar and T last offseason. That way, they're a lot cheaper now. Like, we don't have to pay him as much. Shemar doesn't have the whole Triple Crown thing. We don't have to worry about that. So Shemar is probably making, what's he making, 100 some? I don't even know. Is it really 140? There's no way. I'm going to look it up. I forget. I don't really care about this. Like, I don't really care how much you're going to make to stay on the team. That's all I really care about. I believe it is it's $161 million. Okay. So, I would say probably last offseason, we probably could have signed Shemar for 140, 120 million. So, like, that's like, what? $40 to $20 million cheaper. And T. Higgins, $150 million. He probably could have been $100 million last offseason. So that saves up another $15 million. So really now all we're worried about is Trey Hendrickson this offseason. We got we signed Shemar. In my opinion, should have signed him to a 5-year deal. So we signed Shemar to a 5-year deal / 4-year deal. Signed T to a 4-year deal. Now we're all worried about Trey Hendrickson. Now Trey Hendrickson is only making $60 million coming into this year. Okay? He's not making a lot of money for a guy that's as good as him, and the fact that he's making money way below the market. All right? And so the focus is all on Trey right now. And apparently now that we brought Shemar Stewart in, we should have brought James Pierce Jr. because he's going to be a stud. But we brought Shemar Stewart in. We're also worried about him as well. So with Trey, we saved up, I would have said we probably signed Shemar to $140 million last year. So we save up, $21 million. And then for T, we'll just say we signed him to $110 million. So that's $26 million saved up. All right, and how much cap space did the Bengals have this offseason? I'm going to look it up because I'm not 100% on this. Let me see. This is per over the cap. I don't know if this is accurate right now. So, we have $31.9 million in cap space, plus $26 million. How much is that? I'm not even going to do the math. But $31.9 million plus $26 million is $57.9 million. We have $57.9 million in cap space. That is plenty for both Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart. It doesn't make sense to me. The Bengals should have at least signed T. Higgins to a deal last offseason. Then maybe, okay, we could say, all right, we got the deal with T done. We can sign Shemar. Either we can still sign Shemar this year, or we can, sign him next offseason, which is now this offseason. So we would have had, if I were the Bengals GM, I'm signing T and Shemar last offseason. I'm signing Trey this offseason because obviously you get I don't know how much money you get, but every offseason you get more cap space. So I don't know what's going to happen. If we have $57.9 million in cap space, we're signing Trey to at least $35 to $40 million contract. That sounds about right. I mean, we can have, I would say, tie him with Myles Garrett at least. So let's pay Trey what he's worth. Let's say we do. I honestly do not think he would be mad at all if we gave him $35 million a year on a 2 to 3 year contract. So what? That's on a 2-year contract, $35 million. Well, let's say 3 3-year contract. That's a $105 million contract. I think he would be more than happy with that on 3 years. So $35 million minus $57.9 million equals, I think I did that wrong, $57.9 million minus $35 million is $22.9 million left in cap space, which is less than what they have now, but we would have had more to pay Trey. We only have $31 million in cap space, which is not enough for a guy like him. So I don't know what they're going to do here. They're probably going to offer him maybe, you know what, you have $16 million, we'll offer you $20 million. That's not enough. It's not enough. This has to get done. And then we have $22.9 million in cap space left after we sign Trey this offseason. We can sign Shemar to a $10 million. What is it? What's the average for a rookie? I'm not even sure. I don't know if it'll show up. I don't know what the average for a rookie is, especially a first rounder. I mean, Amarius Mims is on a $1.9 million deal. So we could probably sign Shemar to at least $2 million. At least $1.5 million. We have the money. If we would actually plan ahead and the Bengals front office would use their brains, this would all work out. Now we're going to go over to the Shemar Stewart side of things. All right? I didn't want Shemar Stewart in the first place. Most of you already know that by now. I did not want Shemar Stewart. He has bust written all over him. He's a good athlete. I just don't see him being a good football player. Now, every day that goes by, I can kind of see, I look at his face and say, you know what, this guy might not be too bad, but I'd rather have James Pierce Jr., who, in my opinion, I think is going to be the runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So, I guess this has gotten worse, because, obviously, we signed, Amarius Mims we didn't sign him until, July last year, but there wasn't this whole drama thing. I don't know what this is about. I guess the Bengals are signing or adding a clause to a contract that Shemar doesn't like. I don't know what's going on. But Shemar Stewart left mandatory minicamp on Thursday. Didn't show up, so he got fined, I'm assuming. Even though he's a rookie. I don't know how this adds up to a rookie. But now there's articles popping up about saying Shemar Stewart could get redrafted in 2026. He could enter the 2026 draft and just get drafted again, which I don't even know if that's ever happened before. I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of someone getting redrafted before. Never heard of it. I think it's stupid. It's not Shemar's fault. It's the Bengals' fault. I'm calling them. Hey, I'm a Bengals fan, but I am more than willing to make fun of my own team. I'm calling them the bankrupt Bengals. Like, what are we doing? I hope there is somebody in that Bengals front office that is listening or watching right now. Just get it done. Get it done. Burrow is probably going to have to restructure his deal in order to pay Trey. Trey is not going to take $31 million, and if he does, that's all of our money. What are we going to pay Shemar? I don't know. Jamar and T should have been done last offseason. The Bengals look stupid. They look so stupid. If we would have had Jamar and T done last offseason, all the focus is on Trey and Shemar. Trey first, Shemar second. After that, nothing. We don't need that. Nothing else needs to be done. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it gets done. As a Bengals fan, I'm not rooting against my team. I'm just hoping that this gets done. It should have been done a long time ago. Why are we still talking about this? Why? I don't understand. Micah Parsons is supposed to get a $40+ million contract. If he signs before Trey, we're cooked. The Bengals can't do anything about it. It's their problem. It's not ours. It's their problem. It doesn't make any lick of sense to me what they're doing. And it is frustrating. Not only for the fans, but for Shemar and Trey. I hope he gets the bag. Even though I didn't want Shemar Stewart on this football team. But I am hoping that he gets his deal. Whatever team he's on this year or whenever he gets drafted next year, if that even happens. I hope he signs his deal. I mean, if you're a rookie, you're guaranteed to get a deal. If you're in Cincinnati, that's not guaranteed. If you think about it, some players coming into next year's draft could be looking at this whole Bengals thing, and if they know they're in the conversation to go to Cincinnati, they could pull an Eli Manning and say, no, I don't want to play for you. Think about that. They could say, no, I don't want to play for you because you're not trustworthy enough. I don't trust you to sign, to help me get a deal done and, play here for 4 years and see what happens. I don't think Shemar is going to be, a Hall of Famer. I don't think really anybody thinks that. I don't think he's going to be this all-star. I think he's going to be either anywhere from a bust to a solid player. He's not going to be anything crazy, but that does not mean that he does not deserve a deal. I mean, he needs to get a deal done, regardless of what happens. So I would have got my James Pierce Jr. in the draft. I don't know what the Bengals are doing. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. So we'll see what happens. I hope they get this whole thing done. I'm just sick of talking about this. I'm sick of it. This whole Trey Hendrickson thing going on, that has died down now, and now it's all Shemar Stewart. So it's I don't know if the Bengals can have one offseason without any sort of drama. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. Happens every year. Jamar held out last year. T held out a year or so ago. Now it's Trey and your rookie. This is a problem. This is a reoccurring problem that they have to fix. I don't know if it's the GM. I don't know who it is. But if it's Mike Brown, he should be fired. I'm sick of this. I'm not even going to talk about this anymore. I don't even hardly like talking about it. I feel like everyone, not just me, but fans, Bengals fans, NFL fans, the Bengals, they got to get this done. Shemar has plenty of room to talk. And, yeah, I don't know. We're just going to go on to the quiz because this is getting old. This is just getting really old. And eventually, we'll be talking about Shemar entering the 2026 draft, which would be absolutely insane. I'm not saying that I didn't want Stewart or I didn't want him on the teams after we drafted him. Like, if we're going to draft Shemar Stewart, we might as well keep him. So, there's nothing we can do about it anymore. But if I was in the green room or whatever, I'm taking James Pierce Jr., whether it's a reach or not. So, with that being said, we're going to go on to the quiz. This week, I got the job done after losing last week. So, I think I recorded a record. So, my record on quizzes is now 10-25, I believe. How cold was the Ice Bowl game between the Packers and Cowboys? Negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 16 degrees Fahrenheit. The correct answer was negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Negative 16 degrees, 9%, negative 13 degrees, 23%, negative 18 degrees was 32%, and negative 15 degrees was 36%. 18 degrees sounds way too cold to be true, so I can see why 15% was, or 15 was the number. So it was a cold game. I'll put it at that. But yes, I believe my record for quizzes is now 10-25. So yes, I have 10 wins against you guys, but you have 25 wins against me. So I'm trying to even out that record. Put it on a scale and stop making it go like this. I'm gonna make it even at some point. It might take a few months, but I'm gonna get it. Trust me. I don't have a lot of quizzes in the bag, but I think I can look up some good ones. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the question of the week. Will the Steelers do right by signing T.J. Watt? We could have talked about the whole Shemar Stewart thing, but I was like, no, I'm going to be talking about that for a while for the new segment. So, will the Steelers do right by signing T.J. Watt? Yes, 84%, and no, 16%. Whoever said yes, you're 1,000% right. Whether Steelers fans said no or not, it's going to get done. I really don't see why there should be any concern for anybody out there about T.J. Watt potentially leaving Pittsburgh. It's just not going to happen. I'll put it at that. You can call it a jinx. You can call it confidence. You can call it whatever. But I don't think that TJ is going to be leaving Pittsburgh anytime soon. If he does at all, it's probably going to be when he's at the end of his career and out of his prime. So I agree with all of you who said yes. And I disagree with you who all said no. I mean, I could see why some would say no. There are other ways. I mean, I could see it going either way, but in my eyes, he's going to get it done. And he's going to beat Trey Hendrickson to the deal. So will Micah Parsons. And then, yeah, I'm not even going to get into detail about all that. But that is this week's episode. Hopefully my throat's not going out again like it did last week. But if you enjoyed last week's episode, if you enjoyed this week's episode, I highly suggest you guys check out last week's, where I talked about Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't watch the ending of that one because it was bad. But if you enjoyed, hit the like, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified of every single upload this channel makes. And I'll see you guys next week for episode 60. We're getting close. We're more than halfway to 100. Hopefully we can reach that goal soon. But this was Deacon's NFL Talk.